Welsh Fusiliers to become a 2-battalion regiment known as the Royal Welsh. Needless to say, the events of January 1879 will continue to be preserved prominently under the new arrangements. We're fortunate to have Mike's books as a historical handrail at such an important time. Our proudest traditions will march inexorably on. The Queen's collar will continue to be adorned with a silver wreath of immortelles. The Battle Honour South Africa 1877-89 will still be borne on the regimental colour. Neville Coghill's sword will continue to hang in pride of place between the colours and, when on parade, be worn by the Queen's colour ensign. We will commemorate Rorke's Drift Day each year and will march past to that most rousing of battle songs, Men of Harlech. The 2nd Company of the 2nd Battalion will be known as B, Rorke's Drift Company. In his first book, How Can Man Die Better?, Mike analysed the disastrous sequence of events that culminated in the crushing Zulu victory at Isandlwana. That book has established him in the public eye as one of the foremost experts in the field. In my view, no other author has been able to master the details of the fight whilst at the same time recounting the episode with such clarity. He now brings these same skills to bear on those remarkable few hours at Rorke's Drift. Like Wolves on the Fold, provides the most comprehensive assessment of the battle I have yet read, and then goes on to address, and I would say resolve, the controversies that still surround Isandlwana. It is, without doubt, a work of the very highest quality. Colonel Hugh Lloyd-Jones, Commanding Officer, 1st Battalion, the Royal Regiment of Wales, 24th, 41st Foot. Preface. The Assyrian came down like a wolf on the fold, and his cohorts were gleaming in purple and gold, and the sheen of their spears was like stars on the sea, when the blue wave rolls nightly on deep Galilee. Like the leaves of the forest when summer is green, that host with their banners at sunset were seen. Like the leaves of the forest when autumn hath blown, that host on the morrow lay withered and strown. The Destruction of Sennacherib, Lord Byron. By breakfast time, the great chain of events was already in motion. Wednesday, the 22nd of January 1879, was set to become one of the most calamitous days in the long history of the British Empire, one of the most renowned in the august history of Britain's standing army, and one of the most momentous in the timeless history of Southern Africa. Like Wolves on the Fold picks up the story of that most remarkable of days from my first book, How Can Man Die Better? We left Lieutenant Colonel Lord Chelmsford, Colonel Richard Glynn, and the remnants of No. 3 column bivouacked in a state of shocked and stunned disbelief amongst the grisly remains of their slaughtered comrades, men they had soldiered with, men they had admired, men they had great affection for, all of them reduced now to mere butchered carcasses, silent, still, and strewn grotesquely through all that was left of their sacked encampment. In parts 1 and 2 of this second volume, we examine the equally dramatic events which took place on the other bank of the Buffalo River, the famous episode centred upon the mission station at Rorke's Drift. The first 2 parts of this second book stand alone and can be enjoyed without reference to How Can Man Die Better? But additionally, in Part 3, we examine the subsequent course of the war, revisit Isandlwana to discuss the issue of culpability and blame, and reflect on the fates and destinies of many of the war's most notable participants, some of whom are central only to the first volume. To derive maximum enjoyment from Part 3 of this book, it will have been beneficial to have read How Can Man Die Better? Not as part of some cunning marketing ploy, but simply because of the way so rich and complex a story plays itself out across 2 more readily affordable volumes. In these 2 books, I've been moved to dissect the battles of Isandlwana and Rorke's Drift specifically from a soldier's perspective, in the hope that the insights of a military professional might contribute usefully to our modern-day understanding of the events of 1879. I've done so partly out of concern that some recent contributions in the field seem to have led down a number of false trails. I hope, then, to straighten the tiller. Rorke's Drift, we all know, was the ultimate triumph against the odds, an impossible victory. How could a mere 150 men, of whom almost a quarter were hospital patients, standing behind an improvised barricade of mealie bags, hold off some 4,500 assailants? We struggled to comprehend how this could happen.